In the Adoption Service Center in the United States, Jim and Sandy eagerly seek to adopt a child. However, when the staff reviews their adoption application, they discover a striking detail in the section about adoption experience. They had written down the name Timothy. "Timothy?" the staff member asked curiously. "Who's that?" A warmth and courage surge within Sandy as she decides to share their story. "That's a chapter from our past. Let me tell you about it," she says, taking a deep breath and beginning to narrate. "After Jim and I got married, we looked forward to having our own children, but fate played a cruel joke on us," Sandy says, gently squeezing Jim's hand, signaling him to join in sharing their experience. Jim takes over, his face expressing a mix of emotion and determination. "The doctor told us that conceiving might be a luxury for us, not a possibility," he says, his voice carrying unhidden emotions. "In that moment, we felt like we were plunged into an abyss, unable to free ourselves." Sandy's eyes shimmer with tears, but she strives to maintain composure. "Yes," Jim continues, "I can't forget coming home to see her locking herself in the room, crying silently. The despair and helplessness made it hard for me to breathe. In the late hours of the night, Jim and his wife sat in the living room, comforting each other. Jim gingerly picked up a notebook filled with descriptions of the children they dreamed of. They talked about these dreams, each detail warming their hearts. "Darling," Jim says gently, "our child will be incredibly honest, just like it's written in this notebook. They will have a gentle yet resilient soul, transparent like glass but complete and fulfilling. They will understand love and be loved." "Yes," his wife responds softly, "our child will bring so much love and kindness to the world." They carefully put all these notes into a wooden box, then walked together to the backyard, burying the box in the soil. However, at that moment, the sky suddenly poured down heavy rain, causing the soil in the garden to swell. "Quick, let's get back inside," Jim says worriedly. They hastily return to the house, but as they enter the bedroom, Jim is surprised to find the bed covered in soil. They're alarmed and immediately head towards the direction of the storage room, following a trail of soil footprints. When Cindy and Jim were taking a stroll in the garden, they suddenly came across a muddy little boy. "Oh my, what's that?" exclaimed Cindy in surprise. Jim bent down, observing the little boy closely, and said with a smile, "Oh, he looks like he just emerged from a mud puddle." The little boy looked up at them with clear eyes and said, "I'm Timothy." Upon hearing the boy's name, Cindy was astonished to find it was exactly the name they had been thinking of. She looked at Jim in surprise. "What a coincidence." Jim chuckled. "Perhaps this is a gift from above." So, Cindy and Jim decided to take Timothy home. Upon arriving home, Cindy gave Timothy a warm bath, washing away the mud from his body. As they were about to trim the leaves from Timothy's legs, Jim attempted but found the scissors broke against the leaves. "Why are these leaves so tough?" Jim exclaimed in surprise. The next day, relatives and friends gathered at Jim's house for a party, and Jim's father and the children played games in the garden. Timothy joined them, but he seemed a bit clumsy. "This game is so much fun." Timothy stretched his arms out, basking in the sunlight. Just then, a girl passed by, and Timothy stood still, accidentally getting hit on the head by the ball. "Oh dear, are you all right?" Cindy hurried over, concerned about Timothy. To prevent Timothy from being teased by others, Jim tried to trim the leaves, but the scissors broke. Timothy was bullied at school. Yesterday, as a girl passed by, she placed a strawberry on Timothy's head. Timothy suddenly felt like he had become a piece of art. Jim, upon hearing about this, walked over to Timothy and gently tapped his shoulder, saying, "Hey, Timothy, I heard you've been having some trouble. Are you okay?" Timothy lifted his head, a hint of sadness in his eyes, but he tried to maintain a smile. "Yeah, I'm okay. Just feeling a little upset." Jim smiled and said, "Don't worry, I'm here. Tell me, what exactly happened?" Timothy sighed softly and described the bullying situation, mentioning the incident with the girl and the strawberry. After learning about the situation, Jim encouraged Timothy and assured him of his support, promising to find out who was bullying him. It turned out the child bullying Timothy happened to be the child of Jim's boss. Jim gathered his courage to speak to his boss, hoping to resolve the issue, but instead, he was lectured by his boss on how to be a father. Cindy wanted the boss's child to apologize to Timothy. But just then, the boss's wife came in, interrupting their conversation and changing the subject. They mentioned they would be having a birthday party next week and invited Timothy to attend. Jim asked, "Timothy, would you like to go to that birthday party?" Timothy smiled and nodded. "Yeah, I'd like to go. Thank you for inviting me." Jim and Cindy exchanged a glance. Then Jim said gently, "Then go ahead, Timothy. Whatever you decide, we'll support you." Timothy didn't mind at all and was actually happy to accept. Jim and Cindy felt it was important to let Timothy make his own decision. On the day of the party, Timothy encountered the mysterious girl once again. Her gaze lingered on him as if she had some special intention. "Hello," the girl said softly, a hint of curiosity in her eyes. Timothy's heart skipped a beat, and he couldn't help but nervously reply, "Hi, what are you looking at?" The girl smiled faintly, not answering, but headed towards the pool. Curiously, Timothy followed, and without hesitation, they both jumped into the refreshing water. The people at the party were busy celebrating and paid no attention to these two young people playing in the water. "Do you know, I've been observing you," the girl suddenly said, her eyes twinkling with a teasing light. Timothy felt somewhat surprised but also felt his heart race. "Really? Why?" he asked. The girl chuckled, approached Timothy quietly, and gently pulled down his socks, revealing the leaves on his legs. Timothy was startled and instinctively kicked her. The next day, the girl revealed her secret in the same manner, shocking Timothy. "So, you have a secret too," Timothy said, astonished. Then they started playing together, traversing the paths surrounded by maple leaves, enjoying the beauty of the sunlight streaming through the jungle. Timothy had never experienced such happiness and contentment before. After parting ways, as he lay on the grass, he noticed a leaf had fallen from his leg. Upon returning home, Timothy's parents took him to the hospital, where his uncle was hospitalized due to illness. There, relatives and friends gathered around his uncle's bedside. Although Uncle Bob looked frail, he remained humorous. In the end, he asked Timothy to stay, and they had a pleasant conversation. Bob's wife remarked with emotion that she hadn't seen her husband laugh so happily in a long time. And amidst laughter, Bob departed from this world, and another leaf fell from Timothy's leg. After Barb's death, Jim decided to let Timothy join the soccer team. However, it was clear that Timothy did not possess the exceptional football talent they had hoped for. "Hey, Timothy, look here, the ball's coming. Pass it to me," the coach shouted loudly. Timothy clumsily shuffled his feet, struggling to chase after the soccer ball, but consistently missed or kicked it away. "Well, maybe football isn't your ultimate calling," Jim comforted, "but we can find something else, right?" Gradually, the couple began to adapt to Timothy's presence, but Jim's pencil factory faced the threat of closure. "What are we going to do?" Jim rubbed his temples, looking helpless. Just as Jim felt despair, Timothy suddenly suggested, "Why not use leaves to make a new type of pencil?" Jim looked at Timothy with doubt, but seeing his confident demeanor, couldn't help but be influenced. So, the couple began to sketch designs and study the ingredients for the new pencil, while Timothy was responsible for gathering various leaves. Soon, the prototype of the leaf pencil was created. One day, Sandy's boss commissioned a renowned painter to paint a cell portrait. Everyone marveled at it, except Timothy, who said it wasn't good. "I can draw you a better one for free," Timothy proposed. So, he began to meticulously sketch with the pencil. Upon completing the entire drawing, a leaf fell. The boss took the drawing and saw the details, depicting himself as a confidant, including that small patch of the goat lake. The falling leaf symbolized honesty, even if imperfect, It had to be genuine. Once, while chatting with her sister, Sandy couldn't bear her sister boasting about her children's talents. "Oh, Timothy. He's a musical genius," Sandy casually mentioned. Upon hearing this, her sister enrolled him in a concert, and an unprepared Timothy was thrust onto the stage. "Oh, what do I do?" Timothy asked nervously. "No problem," Sandy encouraged with a smile. So Timothy began to perform. Instead of picking up those fancy instruments, he tapped out rhythms with cups, accompanying Sandy's dance, putting on a strange but energetic rock party. Back at home, Timothy felt exhausted. Another leaf fell from his leg, as if the weariness of life was silently manifesting. However, he learned to properly handle others' ridicule, facing them with optimism and positivity. Another day, Timothy sighed softly, standing by the window. His mother came over, gently patting his shoulder, comforting him. "Don't be disheartened. Timothy, you're a strong kid. Don't let others' words affect you." On the soccer field, Timothy had always been a substitute player, quietly contributing to the team. But finally, he got a chance to play. However, the coach didn't let him on the field, which left him frustrated. His father came over, encouraging him. "Keep moving. Timothy, don't give up." Just then, the girl he liked walked over with a sign that read, "I support number 0." This sentence greatly encouraged Timothy, and he began dribbling forward, unstoppable. Finally, at the doorstep, he decided to shoot. However, the ball went in, but it was an own goal. He kicked it into his own net. Nobody had told him the rules. Once again, a leaf fell from Timothy's leg, mocking his failure. But on the path of growth, he understood that setbacks and failures were inevitable, even if he had given his all. Meanwhile, Jim's factory was in crisis. Not wanting to give up, Jim recommended the new pencil he had developed to his superiors and finally obtained permission for mass production. This new pencil saved the factory, but the boss usurped the patent, claiming the pencil was his idea. Upon learning this, Timothy decisively stepped onto the podium and told everyone the truth. To prove his words, he showed everyone the leaves on his legs, one leg already bare of leaves, while the other had only one leaf left, now withered. "This is my evidence." Timothy's voice was firm and powerful. "I won't be deceived, and I won't let others be deceived." After Timothy returned home, he sat quietly beside Jim and Sandy, watching as the last leaf on his leg gently drifted to the ground. It was the signal of his impending departure, a moment of bittersweet significance. When the final leaf falls, Timothy spoke softly, his voice as gentle as a breeze. "It means I must leave. While other children may grow up and venture far from home, the loss of my leaves signifies my journey to another place. You have learned how to be wonderful parents, always prepared for me." With a flash of lightning and a clap of thunder, Timothy silently departed, leaving Jim and Sandy to watch him go with heavy hearts. Subsequently, the two hastily dug through the soil in their garden until they uncovered the wooden box they had buried. When the staff asked what was inside, Sandy handed them a letter. In the letter, Timothy expressed that he was giving the leaves to those who had left their mark on his life. "Gratitude is what is needed most on the path to growth," he wrote. In the end, Jim and Sandy successfully obtained custody, and a lovely girl came into their family, bringing warmth to their lives.